Good afternoon, guys. I got an idea, a thought that some of the puzzle pieces kind of get put together. And I mean, this is going to sound really weird, but could Afghanistan falling to the Taliban actually be a good thing for the people of the world? And I know everybody's going to say, Christ, look at the human rights violations. And I mean, there was video today, or pictures today, I guess, that came out of an Afghani woman who was shot by the Taliban for not wearing a headscarf. Okay, no, that stuff is not good. Okay, I'm not talking about this. I'm thinking much bigger picture. All right. Now, hear me out on this, but this is kind of my point. If you go back to World War II, and obviously the Nazis were defeated, you know, Japanese Empire was defeated, and what did the Allies do? They went in and attempted and succeeded, for the most part, there on establishing a democracy as a type of government. Okay, got rid of the totalitarian and Hitler, and got rid of the Emporer and Hirohito. And so that was successful. So what happened thereafter? Well, the Allies got a little emboldened and figured, hey, if we could do it there, let's see if we can go out and do some nation building and bring the whole world under democracy. So then you had Korea, and that didn't quite work out too well. And now we have, of course, North and South Korea, which one's a democracy and one's a dictatorship. Then you had Vietnam. That didn't exactly work out too well. And then you take a look at, you know, other ones that have happened. The Soviet Union fell. Okay, now, sure, you have some countries that were Eastern Bloc, you know, Poland, Czechoslovakia, now Czech Republic and Slovakia. Hungary, you know, they wound up democracies, but you know, I hardly think you could call Russia now a democracy. Sure, they vote for their president. There's one candidate on the ballot. You know, and God forbid if somebody runs against them, they miraculously die. You know, sounds Clinton-esque. You know, go through the former Yugoslavia. That didn't exactly work out all too well. You know, then take a look at Somalia. There's another one that didn't work out. Iraq and Afghanistan. So where I'm going with this is the World Economic Forum, trying to put us all under one world government, needs everybody to be thinking the same. All right. Now, of course, you get Biden and Merkel and Johnson and Macron and Trudeau and pick one, you know, all these Western nations that want, you know, that seem to be for the one world government, the New World Order, the World Economic Forum, that whole type of deal. All right. But I can pretty much guarantee that Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, now Afghanistan, are not going to fall into line with a one world government. Okay, it's just not going to happen. So could this possibly be a blessing in disguise that is another reminder to the New World Order folks that people are different around the world and want different things, and so their dreams and aspirations of total control aren't going to happen. There's always going to be an enemy. Okay, and in regards to that, you know, let's just look at it this way. You know, there's always going to be an enemy, and so their idea is, well, we can squash the enemy. And Afghanistan is a perfect example of no, you can't. Because if you think about it, the Soviet Union went into Afghanistan for 10 years back in the 80s, okay, and lost. The United States, with, of course, help from Europe, England, Australia, I mean, you name it, went into Afghanistan for 20 years and lost. Okay? For society to be, world society, to be successful, do you think maybe it's possible that we need to have an enemy? You know, I go back, I mean, obviously I can't go back to World War II or anything like that. I wasn't around, okay? But I can go back to the Cold War era. And, you know, you can remember better dead than red, and, you know, with the Olympics just ending, you know, all the American pride after Miracle on Ice and stuff like that, you know, beating the Russians, whatever it would be. It almost helps to have an enemy, because it gives somebody a little bit of pride in who they are or what they are. So and I mean, again, let's go into science fiction, for example. Okay, you know, I used the Star Trek analogy the other day of, you know, space, the final frontier, or whatever it would be. But, you know, you go through Star Trek. Okay, you always had the Klingons. There was always an enemy. You know, if you want to look at Star Wars, okay, you know, you had Darth Vader and the evil empire and everything like that. There was always an enemy. There will always be an enemy. You know, kumbaya, everybody getting along, is not realistic in any sort of respect whatsoever. I mean, internationally, domestically, whatever it is. I mean, look in the mirror. I guarantee every single person, including me, has people that don't like them, okay? That's fine. There's people I don't like too. That's normal, okay? So, could this possibly be a scenario where the World Economic Forum and the New World Order, you know, the Clintons, the Bidens, the Obamas, the Bushes, everybody like that involved in all of this sort of stuff, have egg on their face because another attempt at nation building just failed? And the people, not saying I support the Taliban by any means, do not get me wrong on this one, okay? But some of the people rose up and decided they were going to decide their own fate, and they were going to be the ones that controlled what happened in their country. That may be a good thing. Personally, I think the World Economic Forum is on its heels right now. They're panicking because the whole pandemic didn't work, okay? They figured, okay, we should be able to get to 70%, no problem. And they got to about 50. And so what did that tell them? That told them that there's 50% of the world population who has free will, who's not willing to bow down and do whatever they want. People will fight for what they believe in. Afghanistan just kind of proved it. Again, not saying I support it, and God knows I feel for the people that are now, you know, experienced 20 years of pseudo-freedom and now have to go under Sharia law, okay? Not saying I agree with that whatsoever. But what I am saying is it's another example of the world will never all come together. And in that respect, Klaus Schwab and his whole gang of jackasses can go pound sand, because what just happened in the last couple of days proves that people want to be able to govern themselves the way they see fit, not listen to some so-called self-proclaimed elite. Have a good afternoon. Pinball out.